Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. So if you missed my YouTube short the other day, you will know that no, I did not buy a Kubota tractor. I'm just borrowing it. But if you didn't figure out what I actually ended up buying, because I'm a car guy, it's the thing that all car guys strive for. If you can get one of these, you know that you've made it, that you can do anything now in your garage. And of course, what I'm talking about is a car lift. I have waited my entire life to get a car lift to be able to do work for myself in the garage. And what I ended up getting here was a 4-post car lift. I've been looking forever for these things because prices have just absolutely skyrocketed on everything. If you look back just a few years ago, you can get 4-post lifts for probably only like maybe $2,500. The 2-post lifts are probably even cheaper, but the 4-post lifts, most of them are up to like $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 now. It's just absolutely ridiculous what they cost. And because those prices have gone up so high, even the people who are selling them are still selling them at like over $4,000 when they only paid like $2,000 for them. But I was able to finally find one. It's made by Titan. I believe it is a Chinese manufactured. It's not one of the few that are made here in America, but Chinese made. It's a XL 7000, so it probably won't be able to lift up the truck, but that's okay because I can do oil changes and everything else on the truck without actually having to lift it up. And because it's an XL version, Titan and only a few other people are the only ones that make an XL where they actually get wider. Most of the XLs only get longer and they go up taller, but I needed a wider because the Camaro's rear wheels from outside to outside is almost 77 inches. Most 4-post lifts, even in the XL versions, they're only coming in at like 73, 74, 75. So to go all the way up to this XL, which is actually 81 inches, I believe this is the absolute widest XL that I've been able to find. Again, most of them are only getting up to like maybe 77, 78. I think one company made it to like 80 inch, but for this thing to be 81 inches, that's freaking perfect. That will be able to fit the Camaro on there and it won't look stupid like the tires are falling off on one side or the other. Now, this Titan version is not made anymore, but I did call them up today as I was going out to get it. It took me about 2 hours to get there, 2 hours to disassemble by myself, and then 2 hours to bring it back home. But when I was on the phone with Titan, they said they still have parts available for these guys. So anything that I need, I should be able to get. But this thing is basically brand new. It was an 81-year-old guy who had it in his garage. He said he used to restore cars. He would pull the restored cars up on the lift, put them up, and then like park other cars underneath of it and just swap them out when he was done. And it's absolutely mint condition. There's no rust. There's no anything broken. There's no paint chips or grease stains or anything like that. It's just an absolute brand spanking new looking 2015 7000 series, when I think Titan right now only sells 8000s now. So they've gone up a little bit in weight, but that's more than enough to do the Camaro and Aaron's SUV, etc. But just unfortunately, I don't think it's enough to do the truck. I got to find the actual curb weight on this thing because I think it's over 7,000 pounds. Now, one last thing before we get this thing unloaded and start trying to set it back up by myself. Hopefully, maybe a couple people I talked to today will respond, or we might have to do the tractor and actually get it to help to like lift things up, etc. But one thing that I did want to say for all the naysayers out there who always say, quit buying stuff, finish your house, blah, blah, blah. I sold the quick jack system for $1,600 and I bought this guy for $2,000. So I'm only into this thing for like 400 bucks. And that 7000 series quick jack that I bought, it paid for itself almost, because I sold a 3500 series that I had for years and years and years. So this is basically just kind of money just keeps rolling through, and not too much is coming out of my pocket. So that is what I am absolutely super stoked about, that I didn't have to pay much more than $400 for what looks like a brand new lift. And the only reason why I sold that quick jack system is, even on Aaron's car, I didn't have the elevated metal pucks. It was dangerous one time. Her SUV just kept wanting to like kind of fall off of it, and it was scary. And it's too tall for the Camaro, so I had to like drive up on blocks and stuff. It was just a huge pain in the butt. It's not quick at all. You're looking at a very long setup time to actually get a car up in the air with quick jacks. And I don't think I would ever taken that thing to the track, because each one of those things were like 100 pounds or so each side. That's just a lot of weight and stuff to be moving to the track, when you can just have a super low profile actual like manual jack and do like one corner at a time. I just think that's better for the track. But the only thing I will have to purchase with this, if we do want to do wheels and tires and stuff, is it comes with a jack tray, but it does not come with a jack, and those jacks are expensive. They're like over $1,000. You put a jack inside of the jack tray, and then you can like push up the rear, move the tray forward, and then push up the front. So, or you can buy two, you know, front and back, and then jack and jack, but that's like another $1,000, $2,000 plus whatever the tray costs from Titan. So you're looking at a very expensive mod to be able to push the entire car up off all four wheels at the same time. So that'll be much later in the future, but at least for now, oil changes and stuff like that, and a bottle jack or something sitting on the jack tray, I could at least do one corner at a time and do like a tire or wheel change. But again, I'm just absolutely stoked. I am gonna try and start busting out this by myself here, unless someone comes over. But hang tight, stick around, and we're gonna set this guy up from start to finish here. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, I did move some of that lumber over finally, since we've been cutting down on getting the siding of the house. So we can actually fit all three cars finally in the garage. I just absolutely love it. It's such a car guy's dream to be able to have a clean garage. And while not 100% done, still need to do some painting and stuff like that. But absolute dream that we can get this guy up and running and going here. All right, so first things first, each one of those posts right there weigh about 100 pounds a piece. I marked them so I wouldn't forget. This install should go a hell of a lot faster than if you were to buy it by yourself, because every single nut and bolt and pulley and everything needs put on. I took this apart as simple as can be. But I'm gonna get the posts, I'm gonna set them up to where each corner is gonna go. Then you got the cross bracing that connects the front two and the back two together. And then I don't know when I'll be able to get these guys out now or by myself, but this guy right here weighs at least 500-600 pounds, and the one below it does not have a piston or anything in it. It probably weighs about 300-400 pounds, but fingers crossed I can actually do this. All right, so I probably am gonna need Aaron's help on this. You actually have to set these down, and then the crossbar, or the like center support or whatever, goes in from the top, and then you slide it on down, and then you have to upright it again. And when I was setting it down by myself, it was extremely heavy, so picking it back up is probably gonna be even worse, because now I'm going against gravity. But again, since it's already assembled, we're kind of cheating here. That not a lot of this has to be put back together like if you were doing it on your own. But this is the first step, and I am gonna figure out just how long this thing is real quick, so I don't have to keep shimmying these forward. But I do want enough walking room in between. If the front of the lift is here, we can keep going further up with it, because not only do we have an XL, which will have long runways, plus the ramps sitting outside, I want those ramps to be well enough in the garage so you can pull any car just straight in, and it's just a smooth transition going from the stone to the concrete to the ramp up to the actual runway that you're on. So let's set these down, get a board under them, and yeah, once again, wish me luck. to at least right here.
Where do you want it to go?
It's gonna stand up. I can get it up to here, but then I can't transition under and stand. So when I move my hand, you just need to support as much as you can.
Okay, so you're gonna be in the middle. Where do you want me?
Just pick it up. Just go with me. Bend low. I gotta transition.
To where?
That's it. That's one. Three. These have to come down. Can you push up on yours or not?
Without pulling that thing out, just.
Go two.
Oh.
We'll probably have to lower these all the way to the ground because that's the way I took it off. But if I can get a metal pipe in here maybe and roll this thing over top of itself, because at the guy's house, I was just putting it on a 2x4 so I wouldn't scratch his floor or scratch the lift, but I was just literally just dragging it on lumber. I really should have brought a round pipe. That would have been so much easier to get this thing around. But this one is not that heavy. I legit can lift each end by myself, even though it's probably like 300-400 pounds. Lifting 150 deadlift is easy. But we got to get it up here and get the length right. There we go, this should work. Some PVC pipe. This should roll nicely. Ready? Nice rolly pipe. I can't believe the weight difference just from that single cylinder in there with the cables. Holy crap, this thing is like feather compared to that other one. $176.5. 185. So does this need to go that way at all? I mean, in between the garage door, that's lined up with the door, and that's lined up with the door. So this thing's 9 foot wide as our door. So that's easy to set. These ramps are gonna come out to about there.
You just barely make it.
Yeah, but this has to go that way. So leave the front and push these forward.
The front seems fine to me.
They don't weigh anything. Not look at that. Hold her. Yep. Put the bucket under. You know what I'm saying? Ready?
You want that red and green one?
No, you lift with me. We have to get this lip up onto the crossbar. Alright, do not move so that won't fall.
You have to take this down yourself?
Yeah. 81-year-old guy couldn't even lift a finger. Didn't offer me a cup of water, nothing. I was dying.
I didn't know what you meant by all that. Was he not helping because he was not able? Or he just was like, fuck it, he wanted to get it?
That's what he said. And he told me the day before, I'm not gonna help you with anything. I'm 81 years old, I got a bad back, etc. So I knew what I was in for.
Did he watch you?
Not really. Lima.
No, that's where all my patience is from.
Is it really going on in? I guess it did. That is not long enough. That nut probably only screwed on 3/4 threads. I mean, the bolt is not even at the top of the washer. It's like receded a good 1/8 of an inch. See, these are all the same, so it's not like this is longer or shorter, but I mean, with that right there, I don't know, it's only screwed on about that far. I wish that was like 3 inches longer. Well, maybe not 3 inches, but. All right, that ain't going anywhere. I can't get the bolt in any further than that, and it's got a lock washer.
Does it, yeah, so it doesn't matter then, right? It just is loose. Then what?
Walk your side in. Now go. Okay. Now walk this side in. This thing has casters, but I don't know how to use them.
Like it can roll?
Yeah, the whole thing. All 4 will go up at once and you can roll it, but I don't know how they work. I guess we can move it later and just figure out how to shim it. Go over here and support this end. We're gonna pick it up and sled it on the board as easy as we can. Down, down. Okay. Sorry guys, battery died, but we got that one on. Good thing you got 2 rollers, that made it a heck of a lot easier. The only thing is we did have to use the bucket again. And because this side was already on, obviously we couldn't lift it straight up. Had to put it on that side first, then come over here with the bucket and get it up over that lip, and then that side kind of just fell down on. But right now I'm attaching these plates right here because not only do these plates act as a thing that the lift can't take off and go further, but the plates are also what hold these cables. So cable goes up through there and gets a nut. Do that on all 4 sides, and then we should be able to lift this thing off of this bucket, and then I can get to the safety mechanism release thing, and then that's it. The only other thing is get it evened and spaced in the garage here, which got to figure out how the casters connect to those like pins that are sticking out, but we are almost there. All right, that should be it. There's a ton of slack because this thing should be on the ground and it's up on the first notch. So I think we got to turn the pump on, and I think the piston retracts and it'll pull all of the cables tight, and then we should be good. And then up there, those are pretty much, they get all the way tight. So once the cable gets a little stiffness to it, I'll start tightening up there, and it'll suck it into itself, make it the cable even tighter. Look at the cylinder. Make sure there's nothing like going on crazy. Is the cylinder retracting? All right, got it. One of the cables popped off the back pulley and they got like reversed, so put them back. So the cables are tight, but hopefully I can tighten these all the way up now because they are like really taut. But, and like I said, he had them pretty much all the way up to where the threads were poking all the way through. And he had a company actually come out and install for him. So I'm just gonna go back to where they had it, but that should be it. Well, besides for the safety latch release. Let me tighten these up real quick, then we'll get it up in the air, make sure it works. We'll thread the safety rod in, which, great, we may not be able to. That safety rod has to go in through the front and one through the back. That glass may hit. Okay, I did tighten them. I actually have an impact this time that fits because I did not have it at there. And these things have a freaking lock washer embedded into them, so they took forever to pull out, but they're extremely tight right now. The only thing I need to call Titan on and figure out is the garage has a crazy slope to it. So there's no way this whole ramp setup right now is completely even. Am I able to just tighten up the rears to like pick the back up to like straighten it up? Or do the back posts actually need like plates under them to lift them up? Because with this distance at whatever I said it was, like 176 inches, I wouldn't be surprised if we've got a 2 or 3 inch slope from the front to the back post. So we're sitting like this. So I need to either read the instructions to see if we can tighten those ones all the way up and loosen these ones kind of so like no threads are showing. Maybe that will pick up the back ramps, or again, we might have to put something under these 1 foot by 1 foot plates and get this thing more level. But I don't want to do too much until I actually figure that out. So there's no instructions of how to level the lift. So again, I am gonna have to wait till tomorrow to call them. One other dilemma I see, this pump only goes on this side, and here is the cord that goes with it. I just so happen to notice it says that it takes 26 amps. Well, that's just fantastic, because even though I was able to lift this up, we're only plugged into a 20 amp outlet. We have plenty of spots in the breaker box. I'm wondering if we're gonna have to use, I wouldn't think 110 volt would need like 10-3 wire or something, but we may have to punch out of the box here and like go up on the wall somewhere and put an outlet up there, which sucks because that means we'll have to do it externally with like some steel conduit up over, and then we'll have to extend this guy like up and out of the way, like on the top of the lift, and run it over to the wall to like a dedicated, again, I wouldn't think you'd need a 30 amp, but the 20 amp seems to be working, but it also doesn't have a car on it. So yeah, I don't know. Let's lift it up all the way though, finish out the safety mechanism. And then I did see in the instructions about how to put the casters on. They basically rock under these pegs right here. And then I think there's a pinhole right there that you lift it up and put it in there, and it just picks the whole thing up. But we'll do that in a second. Now all of these automatically engage because they've got a spring right here, but this whole black piece right here fits into these little notches. But then when we get the safety mechanism, or not the safety mechanism, the release, catch release, you raise it up a little bit, and then there's one bar that pulls on here. It twists all the way down through the back and pulls those, and it takes this guy and pulls this guy outward. But right now, since there's spring tension on everything, once you release it down, every one of these should be caught right now. Nope, unless they're uneven. So this one is not caught yet. That or Aaron's not fat enough and needs to push it down more. Nope, there I saw it go. Yeah, so I guess before you work on the car, just make sure this guy is sitting out and dropped in that pin. The cables are still tight, and the cylinder, unless the cylinder pops, it shouldn't break and harm you, since it's kind of like a double mechanism. But that one's down, and that one is down also. So they're all down. So safety catch or catch release put in place, and then we are done except for getting this thing level. And then I'll let you guys know tomorrow when I come back and see what Titan says about if this thing actually has to be level, or do you just put chocks under the tires. Who knows? We'll see what they say. All right, everybody. I did get a hold of Titan today and found out a few things. So as for the adjustments, I told them how much drop I was finding last night, and the drop is about 3/16 per inch. So it's not a fairly big drop. So you can adjust the cables, as again, these back ones are much tighter than the front. So as we're lifting, we're basically lifting level. But since these internal locks are kind of welded in and they cannot move at all, when the car is setting down, we do have about a 2.75 inch from the front to the back. But at almost 15 feet, I think these are 14 foot, 8.5 inches. I'll still chalk the wheels whenever we're working on the car. Obviously the Camaro and anything that goes on here, you just put it in park. And obviously the car hasn't rolled out of the driveway yet, but they were fine with that. And again, while lifting, we can lift it straight, but down on the lock blocks, there will be a little bit of a taper. I did look online at some like metal superstores, and I can get some 1 inch thick plate steel. 1 foot by 1 foot, and I could technically slip those under, and that would give me 1 inch here in the back, and that would drastically stop that taper from happening. Although I'm not going to put a 2.75 inch block under the rear here. I think 1 inch would be appropriate, and it wouldn't cost that much money. And the other thing, I can't remember if I said this last night or not, but it is really weird that this thing has 26 amps. And the guy that I bought it off of was running it on just a normal outlet. In fact, like I said, it's just normal ground, load and neutral on this plug. So you can't even plug this thing into a 30 amp outlet, which I don't understand why they would give you this plug if you're running a 26 amp motor. But the guy never said his was blowing. His plugs that I saw, I am 99% sure they were actually just 15 amp plugs, because I don't remember seeing that little slit. Which, if you didn't know that, when you're looking at your plug here, you've got your load and your neutral. If your neutral doesn't look like a T, then that outlet is only approved for 15 amps. When you've got that little T there, it's approved for 20 amps. I don't know what plug actually goes in there where the neutral actually has a T shape as opposed to just a, you know, a straight in slit. But he didn't even have that slit. So he was running a 26 amp plug off of a 15 amp outlet, probably connected to a 15 amp breaker. And who knows, he probably was even using 14.2 wire instead of 12.2, which you should be running on a 20 amp and having all that like certified and approved. So he never complained that his motor or anything or breaker was popping. So it'll probably be okay, but we'll just have to test this tomorrow when I get home from work and get the car on here and actually lift it up for the first time. But again, all my questions were answered, so I know that we're safe. I know that we can start using this thing. It's not gonna be a big deal. And we do have to think about how, again, in the future, how we're gonna jack the car up. We either use this jack tray and put in 2 bottle jacks and have to manually bottle jack up each side of the car. That tray right there can hold 3,500 pounds, and to purchase another one, I think it's 280 bucks. So if I wanted to get the car up off of the ground or off of the lift all at once, it'd be 285 plus 4 bottle jacks. So that's obviously gonna have a price tag, you know, if each bottle jack's around 100 pounds or $100 or so, you know, we're looking at several $100s, as opposed to getting the pneumatic jack, which costs about $1,000 just for the rear, and then we'd have to pay another $1,000 for the front and then another $285 for another tray. Although some manufacturers make the jacks not sit on the tray, they actually just ride up and down on the sides of the ramp. So I would still have to pay $2,000 for 2 jacks, but I would not have to have another jack tray, or we can pretty much call that like a tool tray that I can set stuff in there when I'm actually working underneath of the car. But yeah, there you have it. I will get some video up tomorrow, some B-roll of this thing actually getting jacked up. But once again, install went good. I am glad Erin was there to help and that she was able to. I don't think there's any modifications I'm really gonna do to it, except again, maybe put some plate steel under these back 2 posts. But I cannot wait to start using it and actually making my life a lot easier when I'm enjoying my hobby and doing stuff. But we'll have future videos about that. We've got some stuff to do on the Camaro. There's some more stuff that ended up breaking that I saw. I think I showed it in the alignment video. The under tray and the scoops ended up breaking to bring in cold air into the power steering rack. I already went ahead and got a new tray and my buddy has a 3D scanner and a 3D printer. So we're gonna take those little like intake scoops that I showed before, and I'll show you guys again later, but we're gonna 3D print a bunch of those and sell them to other people who have that problem, because it's really a pain in the butt to break that down every time after a track day and then to go out on the street and put it all back to stock. It's just a pain in the butt. So if we can 3D print those for just like a couple dollars each and have an abundance of supply, if anything snaps or breaks again, we can just go ahead and slap new ones on and we don't have to worry about it. And then the same with other people who break them, we can sell them to people, because those scoops have to have the entire whole under tray kit for the race when you actually go out on the track, and it's $160 kit or something. It's absolutely ridiculously priced. So if we can just get the scoops alone, as the side pieces aren't ever going to break, they're just there to replace the factory pieces, it'll be probably a godsend for a lot of people who break those and can just get them for dirt cheap. So, but that can all be in another video when we actually start getting to working on cars and stuff like that. But lift's done. I am super excited, and if you guys enjoyed that, if you got any questions, hit us up down below in the comments, message us on Instagram, and until next time, we'll see you guys later. Take care.